Thanks to the support as a channel member, Dara. Mrs Wearmouth, I am as excited as you am. I'm so excited I can't do language anymore. I'm as excited as you am to see New Boy Park, our new wonder kid, our latest superstar. He is in, he has a work permit, and he plays today. Yeah, maybe I should go on the same intensive language course that he's on. Very good. Excellent. Hello and welcome to part 122 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two games for you in the league. We're at home against Brighton and away against Leicester. Since you were last with me, we've hit a little bit of a sticky patch. You can see that we were in really good form, but then a defeat at Manchester City, and probably more relevant was the defeat against West Ham, cost us a little bit, and then draws against Southampton, which is against Chelsea, which is a good result. Southampton, less of a good result, means the Premier League table looks like this. All of a sudden, there's a big gap opening up between us and top of the league. Last episode, we were 4 points away, I think, from the top. The gap is ever growing. Even the gap to the Champions League is looking insurmountable now, an 8-point gap between us and Liverpool. Although we do have a game in hand. If we win this game, it becomes a 5-point gap, and maybe Champions League maybe is doable. But realistically, we're looking for top 6. We're looking for Europa League. If we can get into the Europa League this season, everybody's happy, I think. So that's what we're going out there to try and do. And of course, the other thing we're going out there to do is have a look at the new boy, Park Seung-ryul, who's now got 13 goals in 21 caps for South Korea. He has turned 19 while he's been away on loan at Malaga, but they tried to extend his loan until the end of the season. He's done very well over in La Liga, 18 games, 3 goals, 4 assists, and a 7.09 rating. If he gets anywhere near that for us over the second half of this season, I think we're going to be very happy with that. Why would they be that way round? Sort them out like that. I've adjusted the midfield so left-footed Gregoire can be the playmaker. But for some reason, I've got Oliveira there and Gregoire as the box-to-box. I'm not really sure what Paskev was thinking there, but it's fixed. Don't worry. So this is the team for the game against Brighton. We've got Williams in goal, a back four of Peresato, Anderson, Fazekas, and Thomas. Thomas has been a regular player for us this season. He's now been upgraded to Wonder Kid status. So he is another one of our English Wonder Kids, another Wonder Kid off the academy conveyor belt as well. And actually looking at him compared to Peresato, who's only 2.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability now at 22, Peresato might not be a forever player for us. Long term, Thomas maybe at left back and possibly Hippolyte or Gillespie at right back. It could be that Peresato might be another one who kind of drifts away from the first team as he gets a little bit older, similar to how the likes of Christian have and Lukinas previously, who looked like they were going to be key players. It's one of the things with a youth development save, I guess. Ola Richards is another example. Players who were real key players and then slowly started to drift down the pecking order. You can see there are bids in for Richards. He's actually out of contract at the end of the season, so there's a number of clubs in for him. We have offered him a contract extension on the basis of, we've offered him the promise of he'll be a regular starter when Kenlin Richardson leaves. He's older than Kenlin Richardson. Hopefully he'll never leave. But it's nice to have him around as a backup. You can see we've got a lot of injuries at the moment. Gillespie, Rogers, Fulnek, Alibasic, Richardson, all injured. Villalobos can only play an hour today. Gregoire has actually just signed a new contract because he was wanted by Manchester City. So he's had an extra 5 years added onto his contract and he's now a Belgian international. So lots of stuff going in the right direction, but we are having a bit of an injury crisis and a bit of iffy form. So it is the best possible time for Park to come into the team and just be an absolute superhero for us. And that is definitely what we're hoping for. This boy has got 16 acceleration, 18 pace, 20 agility, and 17 dribbling. I'm expecting magic on that right wing every time he touches the ball. So, have I introduced the team? I feel like I must have done, but we'll do it again because it's fun. Williams in goal, a back four of Peresato, Anderson, Fazekas, and Thomas. Gregoire and Oliveira in midfield. Richards, Perez, and Park as the front three. And then Villalobos is up front. Bayer, by the way, hasn't scored since that first match of the season. He needs to sort his life out. Villalobos outscoring him at the moment. And actually, Francisco looking very good in the few games he's played up front, while Villalobos and Bayer were both injured at the same time. Francisco grabbing a few goals and might actually end up being our striker if Villalobos doesn't start scoring. We said second season, Villalobos is going to be great. Halfway through the season, he's only scored 4 goals. Bayer only has 2. I think Francisco has 3 from a 4-game run playing as our striker. So there is a chance that Francisco is going to be our striker, especially now Park is in and Francisco's not really going to get on that right-hand side. He might be moving up front, even though he's another one who's finishing is 9, I think. But we're not really worrying about the finishing attribute. We're worrying about who's actually scoring the goals. And if Francisco's going to score 3 in every 4 matches, I don't care if his finishing is nothing. If you watch the Bourne save, which you should, it's awesome. You'll know we've got Jorge Hernandez in that save, who gets 40 goals a season, has done for years, and has a 3 for finishing. So finishing is not all that. It's about how many goals you score. Good save there from Williams to deny Brighton in the first proper highlight of the game. They've got a corner here. A really old Mason Mount playing for Brighton, or is that a different player called Mount? No, it is what must be an ancient Mason Mount in central midfield for Brighton. He must be, I mean, what are we, 15 years in the future now? I'm surprised he's mobile enough to get out there to take corners. Never mind playing central midfield, where he is going to need to do a lot of running around. I feel like my youngsters in there should be all over him today. There's our first look at Park. Maybe headers in our own half aren't what we were looking for when we said magic every time he got the ball. But can we give him the ball? I want to see some magic. Williams making another very good save. It's worrying that he's been the best player on the pitch so far today. Shows that Brighton have started well, and also shows we are in that little bit of a sticky patch that we were talking about before, where things aren't quite going our way currently. And certainly today is another example of that. Brighton have been the better team in that first half, and I can't thrash my arms and say I'm not happy. I'll point the finger then. And I think it might be time for a fist pump and telling them they've got the ability to make a difference. Try and motivate these boys, because what we don't want is a morale slump, because a morale slump will be very problematic for us. We've got to keep an eye on both Gregoire and Villalobos. But for now, I think we leave things as they are. Villalobos has to come off at the hour mark, though. Somebody remind me, because I'm almost certainly going to forget. But I don't know if it's going to be Bayer or Francisco who comes on at that point. Gregoire has got to come off as well. We're going to make both of these changes now. So Villalobos, we don't have Francisco on the bench, so that makes it easier. Bayer comes on for him. What a joke. And we're going to bring Kieran Hodgkinson on in midfield, and we're going to swap those two over, and he's going to be the box-to-box midfielder on that side. And hopefully Bayer can get back in the goal today. We've seen nothing out of Park so far. I'm not alarmed just yet. It is his debut. He doesn't speak English, but it would be nice for him to be awesome straight away. That's what we're hoping for. A lot of pressure on him. When he arrives at 18 and he's already a wonder kid, there's more expectation than those that become wonder kids when they're like 19, 20. Bayer's in here, and it's such a poor, I was going to say first touch, I think it was second touch from Bayer. Far too heavy a touch, and he just looks like a player who's got no confidence at all at the moment. And I imagine that's exactly what he is after this long run of matches with no goals. We need to inject some life back into Bayer, because we know how good he can be, but this is the kind of rough run of form at the kind of age that is going to be problematic for his career and his development. This is an opportunity for him. While we still don't know who our best striker is, this is his opportunity to show me that it's him. Right, here's our first chance to see Park running with the ball. He dances into the area. I don't actually know how good he is at finishing or passing. All we know is he can get his head down and run, which I guess it's going to be fun to watch. And I like things that are fun to watch. Why can't I see ratings on here? Why does this keeps resizing at the moment? It's annoying. I wish it would stop doing that. Right, Ola Richards is going to come off. AD Lillis is coming on, who's had a nice little run of games recently. We're going to put him in there as an inverted winger. He is, if it hadn't been for Park arriving, Lillis has actually played the last couple of games on the right wing. While Francisco was up front, Lillis was our winger, and he's looking pretty useful. So Lillis is very close to being the latest one to break through into the first team picture. Perez with the corner and Anderson's there, and it doesn't matter how it comes as long as we grab the goal. It's a good old-fashioned set piece. It's like the good old days here at home. Perez with the corner, Anderson's there to nod it in, and we've not looked like scoring today. So the fact that we're now 1-0 up, that tells me that it's our season. This is our season that we finally make that next step up into Europe. Hodgkinson playing it forward to Perez, who had the option of Bayer, but went for Park instead, who I'm not sure if that's a shot, not sure if that's a pass. It didn't end product. We need to work on his end product, I think. Brighton with another highlight. I'd quite like to see a final whistle here, please. But Oliveira wins the ball back in midfield. Perez now to Oliveira again, and here's Lillis cutting inside. He's got Bayer ahead of him. He uses him. Back to Lillis. This is good work from Lillis. And he forces the corner from his shot, and we've got another corner here, and it's going to be Oliveira who goes across to take it. Anderson is lurking again, as is Fazekas. Kieran Hodgkinson's well in there as well. They're all the big boys ready to nod goalwards, but none of them actually manage it, and it's back with Oliveira to try and cross in again. There's Park, and he's got a goal on his debut. It's not necessarily what we expected from him. Headers at the far post, but I don't care how the goals come. Park scores on his debut, and we have a new hero, everybody, and his name is Park. It's a lovely cross from Oliveira. I mean, you can't miss from there. Park is completely unmarked. He actually looks like he's got a bit of size to him as well. He looks like he's bigger than Bayer and Lillis. How tall is he? Park he's 6'1". He's not little, even though he's a tricky winger. He's not a tricky little winger, so he's big and fast. He's terrifying. The physicals on that boy. What a terrifying presence he must be. If we can add some end product, he says. The guy's scored 2 goals. Oh, boys and girls. We've got our hero. Maybe he's an inside forward with this kind of finishing. Maybe we need to get him on the left-hand side and get him cutting in more. But 2 goals. Perisato this time with the cross. Park is there. Excellent work. 3-0. Absolutely flat as us. Poor old Brighton do not deserve to have a 3-0 defeat on the records from today's game. But who cares? We've been looking forward to Park for months. He's arrived. He's scored twice. Kev's a genius. Just a one change for the Leicester game. Then Richardson is now fit enough to come back in for Richards. So we make that change. Villalobos still only fit enough to play 75 minutes. I have remembered to put Francisco on the bench for this one, though. So we have the choice between Francisco and Bayer to come on when Villalobos has to go off. Leicester are having a tough season. They're down in 14th place, I think it said, before we got into the game. So it should be a game that if we're actually serious about getting into Europe, this should be a match we're looking at winning. 13th place they're in at the moment, just below Slam Dunks Birmingham. But normally, obviously, coming to Leicester, we'd probably be quite happy with a draw. I think in these circumstances, we've got to come here looking to win if we're serious about achieving everything we can achieve this season. And we've got to be. Transfer window is ticking away as well. We've still got £75 million to spend. This will be the 3rd transfer window in a row where we've just had an absolute ton of money burning a hole in my pocket and nothing to spend it on. Villalobos has finally scored a goal. It's only his 5th for the season, but maybe bringing Park in is the answer. Park gets the assist. Villalobos with the goal. Park's revolutionising the team, and I'm loving it already. So Gregoire, Oliveira involved. Oliveira reinventing himself as a central midfielder recently and doing a very good job back there. Kind of the opposite to Christian's progression. He's just got out on loan to Stoke in the Championship. So Christian at 21, dropping down to the Championship. He might be done. But Oliveira is continuing to develop as a very important part of this squad as Perez starts to establish himself more and more as our attacking midfield option, he says, just as Perez picks up an injury. So we'll let this highlight play out and then we'll probably take Perez off. Perisato picking the ball up from the Leicester clearance and playing it back forward to Oliveira, the man in central midfield. Plays it out to Thomas, who is slowly but surely making this right back spot his own. Cross from Thomas, and Richardson didn't get far enough forward to be there to tap it in at that far post. But the attack continues. Perez to Richardson. And now Gregoire. Leicester really struggling for any kind of possession here, although they have just nicked the ball off of Richardson, who doesn't look completely sharp today. He's missed a couple of games of injury, and we've seen him miss a couple of opportunities to get a hold of the ball there. And I won't say it directly led to the goal because he gave it away in our half, but Leicester have then taken it off us and just charged up the pitch and grabbed an equaliser. It's the kind of goal we like to score. It's the ball over the top that we should be better at dealing with because we're so used to dealing that kind of punishment to our opponents, but we didn't really deal with it. So we're going to take off Perez, bring on Wally to play in there, who's not play. I mean, he's probably had half a dozen or so games out of the team now, just so kind of hovering around as a substitute after having the best part of a year regularly starting either on the right-hand side or central attacking midfield. But with the talent that is starting to come through in those positions, finding opportunities a little bit harder to come by. And I like Wally, so I want him to have more time. Park with another incredible run. I tell you what, this boy is exciting to watch. This is the kind of impact we're looking for from our young teenage players when they come in. Park has just hit the ground running and very nearly grabbed us another goal there. He only got 7 goal contributions, I think, in Spain. I think it was 4 goals, 3 assists. He's already on 2 goals, 1 assist in a game and a half here. He's clearly up for it, and I am very much here for it. Villalobos is going to have to come off in a second as he continues his slow recovery from injury. The rain has started to throw down as well, and Leicester are on the attack, and we could be going behind here, which is not what we were looking for. Say Williams makes the save, but this is a game we were supposed to be winning, and we're not winning it yet. Richardson is having a poor game. Thomas is having a poor game. I'm not going to fiddle too much just yet. We'll leave it until the 70-minute mark, I think. Villalobos can go a little bit longer today. He looks like he's doing all right fitness-wise. Gregoire is tiring, though. But the problem is Gregoire and Villalobos have been the 2 best players on the pitch. So we don't really want to take them off when they've been playing better than everybody else. And if we've got to take Villalobos off anyway for fitness reasons, we should probably leave Gregoire on. Interestingly, assistant manager says Kieran Hodgkinson. I'm going to go Francisco just because I want to show you how good he is in that position. And I think we're going to take off Richardson as well. We must have someone other than Hodgkinson who can go out onto that left wing. Park, why can't he? He should be able to. We need to get him training to play on the left-hand side. I don't want to mess with him too much early on, though. I might just leave Richardson on. And who else could what could we do? We could take off Oliveira and get Hodgkinson on in there, just as it's always good. When in doubt, get Kieran Hodgkinson onto the pitch because of his leadership and his experience. And we've talked about it before. We just tend to play better when Kieran Hodgkinson is around. Why is that showing that they're both deep-lying playmakers? They're not. It's just my assistant manager doesn't realise it, which is always a good sign. He still thinks Hodgkinson's playing as a deep-lying playmaker in there, even though we know we've told him to be a box-to-box midfielder. I wonder what he's actually doing. Either way, he's not making any kind of contribution. And I'm a little bit disappointed with a 1-1 there. We should have done better. We're still hovering around the top 6, which is what we're looking for this season. I just think we could have done a little bit better in that particular game. This is what the league table looks like. 6th place. I mean, we're in the mix, but then so is everybody down to Chelsea, Birmingham. And we saw what happened last season. We went into the final match of the season, still able to qualify for Europe and ended up finishing 11th. So we know how tight it's going to be in these clubs. There's kind of a big 4 or 5 and then another 8 or 9 clubs who are all very similar. And we're in that mix trying to graduate into the next one up and make it a big 6. And we're not quite there yet. Right, we'll continue trying to spend some money in this transfer window and probably struggling. And then we'll come back somewhere around here to check in. That'll be on, what day is it? So this is Saturday. So Monday, back to normal schedule on Monday, 11 a.m. on Monday. You'll see us check in there. And then Tuesday, we should be finishing this season off. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.